Hey y'all, pull up a chair and let's chat for a little while. You know, it's just very confusing times. Who would have ever thought that at this stage of your life that you would be sheltered in place, physically isolated? My goodness, I've gone through all kinds of pandemics in my lifetime. The polio pandemic when I was in the 3rd grade. We've had the Asian flu, the bird flu, the bubonic plague, and now with this corona. I don't know about you, but if you listen to all the news and everything, it becomes a very bleak situation. And if you're not careful, you will just let the spirit of fear just cloud your mind and your judgments. And you don't know what to do. First, they said the droplet would hit the floor. The CDC said, recommended everybody wear masks, and the states then determine whether or not you do. Well, we're in the state of wearing the mask if you're going out. We didn't have enough masks. So there was a rush on getting masks made for essential people, healthcare facilities, and those that really needed the mask and were on the front line. My children said, "Mother, we want you to stay inside." I'm of that age, and I listened, and I have only been outside, 3 times to the doctor and 2 times to Publix since about the middle of March. Well, honey, I am a people person, and I miss fellowship with my friends. And if I didn't have y'all on Facebook, I don't know what I would do. It would be very lonely for me. I don't share a lot of spiritual things that I go through sometimes, but I wanted to share this. It's been about 3 weeks ago. One night I had a dream. And that's very unusual for me because I don't sleep real well. And I don't get into that REM sleep, where you do the dreaming. And I get my best sleep early morning hours. And it was one morning between 3 and 5 that I had fallen asleep and I started dreaming. I dreamed that I was in this crowd of people and we were standing and we were walking in a direction, but you weren't able to choose which way to go. We were so crowded, our shoulders were touching. You couldn't make a step unless someone else took a step, and we were just moving in a direction. And we went into this great big building, and there was no back to it or exit to it. And we were just standing there. You didn't have room to breathe. And we were packed like a can of sardines, as the old saying goes. Could not move, could not barely breathe. And as I was waking up, the Spirit said to me, "We are like sheep herded to the slaughter." And I woke up. Well, I'll just tell you, I haven't been able to get away from that. Now, I have never had fear of this virus. I have a good, appreciation for what the people are saying that we need to do to protect ourselves, but I just am not a person that has a fearful nature. I remember as a child, my mother spent many days alone, and we were rather isolated where we lived. But what she had written in her own handwriting on just a little piece of paper and stuck it on the mirror on her dresser, it said, "God has not given me the spirit of fear, but of peace, love, joy, and a sound mind." Well, I watched my mother all those years. She didn't have a fearful bone in her body. She was a tenacious little thing. She wasn't afraid to stay by herself. She wasn't afraid of being handicapped and disabled. The first time we took her on a plane ride, a couple of years after Papa died, we took her to see her brother in San Diego, California. Well, it was really San Francisco, Oakland to be exact. She loved that plane ride. And she sat by the window the whole time and she said, I'm not afraid. Just look at that. Just look at that. So I was not taught to be fearful. And I thank God for it, because that fear can just grip your spirit, your mind, your emotions, and it can immobilize you so that you just can't do anything. And I am just so thankful that I have claimed that scripture that my mother has all those years. But getting back to the dream, after I had the dream, I just decided I have got to live. Life is for the living. Now, I'm not going to go out and do foolish things, but there are certain things that I am going to do because that's my survival. I will be careful. I will do what our state's telling us to do, but I am going to venture out, and I'm going to use good common sense, and I'm going to be respectful and considerate of other people, but I'm going to start to live again. So, those are just my thoughts for today. And I just thought I would share them with you. And I hope that it's been an inspiration for someone today.